And then who's Sean Hannity's second guest? Oh, none other than Pam Bondi, who's talking about how people should follow the law. Listen to this.
I believe under Merrick Garland and Joe Biden, the DOJ has been weaponized. With that, there are many, many employees at the Justice Department that were a part of that weaponization. Did they have an obligation not to participate in it, speak out against it? And if they didn't do so, would that be disqualifying in your mind?
Sean, certainly, you have to follow the ethical standards of being a prosecutor, and you have to follow the law. And that's why we have signed multiple executive orders taking us back to our core function of prosecuting real crime and violent crime. And that's how this Justice Department will function, and that's how President Trump wants this administration to function, even-handedly and fair, and restore integrity.
Integrity, ethics, and the rule of law. And this is a woman who wears the Donald Trump knee pads and is willing to lie for Donald Trump and won't even say who won the 2020 election. Yeah, because the first person that I think of when I think of ethics, the first person that I think of when I think of morals is definitely the orange turd. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Pammy. That makes a lot of sense. You want to talk about weaponized? How many FBI agents have you fired? And how many FBI agents are going to be left for doing their job? And she wants to talk about the rule of law. What about the guy who you support, the guy who you've coddled and raised money for, who is literally a 34-count felon? But we want to be lectured by Pam Bondi, again, the ditz who won't even say who won the 2020 election, a complete and utter imbecile who won't say who won the 2020 election. Are you kidding me? Here's Pam Bondi praising Judge Cannon. By the way, let me be clear. She calls Judge Cannon a brilliant judge. Now, why would she say that? Oh, because Judge Cannon has ruled in Donald Trump's favor every time, and then the higher-ups have ruled that Judge Cannon was wrong. But yet, if you suck up to Donald Trump or suck something, then somehow you're made to be out a hero. Notice how Pam Bondi doesn't want to talk about the January 6th insurrectionists, so many of them that were violent that day, that were pardoned. Or another January 6th insurrectionist yesterday that was caught with child porn, who is now back in jail. Or one of those that were pardoned that got into a gunfight with officers and was killed. No, they don't want to talk about that, but follow the law, though. But if you're a white supremacist and you beat police officers with their own batons, we'll let you go. We'll pardon you because we feel like the justice system, it's been weaponized. So if you're a white supremacist and you beat up cops on January 6th, that's okay. Pam Bondi now talking about Judge Cannon, who also wears the Donald Trump knee pads. Have a listen to this.
Well, special counsels from here on out in our country will be legally appointed, and they won't be done constantly like they've been done in the past. And yeah, Judge Cannon is a brilliant judge. She followed the law. That will be upheld, and the weaponization of government will end. No more special counsels out there targeting anyone.
Really? You're not going to target anyone? Interesting, Pammy. Because the guy who is going to be leading the FBI literally has a hit list in his book of the people that he is going to go after. You have literally weaponized everyone in every entity that does not agree with Donald Trump. You have gone after FBI agents and fired FBI agents for just doing their job and conducting an investigation. Do Trump supporters out there think that there shouldn't have been an investigation after January 6th, the who, what, when, where, and why? Because that's basically what they're saying. So many of these FBI agents, they go to work every day and they did their job. But it's a two-tier justice system, right? That's what it is. Make no mistake about it. This is an oligarchy. Make no mistake about it. That's all that this is. This is a dictatorship. And Pam Bondi wants to lecture the American people about the rule of law when we have a 34-count convicted felon in the White House as the president of the United States. Pam Bondi wants to talk about the rule of law. Now, obviously, Sean Hannity is a complete right-wing boob, literally and figuratively. 2 of them. If I was interviewing the real Pam Bondi, I would ask her, Pam, you talk about the rule of law. Okay, let's see if we can have some consistency here. Donald Trump and his administration in the first couple weeks have already broken the law. You guys fired 17 attorneys general without giving Congress a 30-day notice. That is literally against the law. Pam, how would you respond to that? Now, she would probably give me a very similar answer to the answer that Stephen Miller gave to CNN and Jake Tapper, which was, we feel like that law is unconstitutional. So on one side, if they don't like the law, they're just going to break the law and say it's unconstitutional. But they claim that they want everybody to follow the law. Folks, does this make any sense at all? That is my biggest concern. Besides Elon Musk, and we'll get to that, and besides, tech billionaires having all of our personal information, one of my biggest concerns, and I have many of them, but one of my biggest concerns in the Trump administration is Donald Trump does not respect the rule of law now, and he never has. He doesn't respect rules and regulations. He doesn't respect the law because he's been breaking the law his entire life. Now, it could be inflating your assets, claiming that Mar-a-Lago is worth $10 billion. It could be members of his family allegedly stealing from their own charities. It could be hiring people within your family for financial gain. Yeah, we forget about that, don't we? We forget about Jared Kushner and the $2.1 billion he received from the Saudis because he wasn't sending Mike Pompeo out to Saudi Arabia. No. In the final months of Donald Trump's first administration, he sent Jared Kushner. And then several months later, he gets $2.1 billion. But that's America first, right? We don't hear about Ivanka Trump anymore, right? She's hiding in the basement. She made over $500 million in Chinese trademarks when she was working in Donald Trump's administration. But the MAGA morons out there still want to talk about Hunter Biden and Burisma. And Pam Bondi has the gall to talk to us about the rule of law. Donald Trump has never abided and respected law. Never has he decided to respect the rules and regulations in this country, whether it be before he got into public office or after. So I'm not about to be lectured by Pam Bondi because she is pathetic. And she is an embarrassment to this country. And quite frankly, anybody else is that can't say that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. That's important. And the reason why that's important is because if they're not willing to admit the obvious because it might upset Donald Trump, then what are they willing to do now? That's why I said it back then, and that's why I say it now. If you're not willing to say that Donald Trump lost in 2020 and admit the obvious, then what is Pam Bondi willing to do for Donald Trump now that she is in this position? Think about that for a moment. Think about that.